This is the barbecue at the house in 4 Wedgetail View or Rise, wherever we are, in Eagle Bay. So the barbecue is a 1600 beef eater. I actually have the same barbie, but in a smaller version. These guys have replaced 1 or 2 of the grill plates with solid plates, which in turn caused the knob to catch fire. I had to pull it off with tongs. That was on fire just there. I had to blow out the flame. And also during our stay, we had to have this hose replaced because the immense heat from underneath here, because the heat can't escape, caused the gas hose to melt. So that was one of the issues that we had. The outdoor furniture, so the outdoor dishwasher looks like that. We didn't use it. It looks like it's seen its day. I think it does say not in use there. So that's a bit crap, and all these fridges we don't use here either. The table settings and everything here look like they're from Curbside Collection. So they've got all the timber underneath them because they're obviously so well worn that they have to be supported. So they're really in shit condition. The pizza oven handle over here doesn't lock. So basically this thing just falls down. You can't really use it because it doesn't lock. The latch is missing from the handle, so that doesn't work. It doesn't even stay up properly. I have to go sitting there right. The chimney is mounted in such a way that it's a fire hazard to the timber there. So you see when it is working, it's probably not safe to use, and obviously causing some blistering on the roof there. So that's going to be a fire issue. Outside's not too bad. We didn't have too many problems outside. Again, it's quite nice out here. We make a lot of our phone calls for work out here. We are overlooking the pool, which is covered in leaves because the pump doesn't really work terribly well. There is a pool cleaner in there, but I think that filled up day 1 and hasn't worked since. It is a lovely view. The one thing here is the view is outstanding, and this is a terrible day for it, but this little city here is quite nice. That's where we spent most of our time. You'll see down at the pool fence there, it was broken well before our stay, and they've just held it up with some clamps and some plywood. But that's not the only issue with the pool. Down inside, there are 2 doors that go to the pool that aren't secure for children, so would potentially be an issue. Again, they don't seem to care much about their guests here. This is the master bedroom. You'll notice we've got the fan going because the air conditioner in this room doesn't work. It's not functional. You do have an amazing view, but because there is so much window, the room does get so hot. So paying $4,000 a night, we had to use a fan as the aircon. Again, master suite is beautiful. Nice big shower, nice big bath, beautiful walk-in robe, but no air conditioning. The first day that we got here, the hot water didn't work and the bath didn't drain. So we had to call our plumber, who came out a couple of days later to rectify. In our bedroom, when you turn on one of these lights, which one was it? Not that one. That's the one. You get that sort of flicker. Turn that one off. Which, after calling several people out for different things, it seems that these guys have a crack at things themselves. So that's what you got to look forward to in this bedroom, and I'm told that's the same in other bedrooms. Back to the pool area outside. You'll see that the pool doors here remain ajar and not, you see they're broken at the bottom there. They legitimately don't close. So that's obviously a safety hazard. And they're buckled there as well. The pool water gets quite low. We were told that previous guests also have had it low, covered with leaves. And if you look here, they've got like a mosquito larvae. Water boatmen, they're called. Just bobbing around. We did have the pool guy come in our stay to see if he could help with the pool, but it wasn't much help. The spa is hot. However, the jets that you access through this panel here don't work. So there's some instructions on how to operate the jets, and basically you go to page 2 and then it says spar pump and spar blower, and neither of those two work. So I think the spar pump is on with heating all the time, but the spar blower, you're meant to press that and it's meant to do something, and it doesn't. The jib is okay. I didn't use it much, nor did everyone else. We're a bit concerned that if everything else didn't work, it might have issues there. The downstairs kitchen's not functional. So basically, as much as there is appliances here, there's no cups, plates, cutleries or anything in here. So everything's empty. So you can't actually use it for anything. It's all empty. There's a spot where a barbecue should be, but is not. There's obviously a range hood that's been used at some stage, and a cooktop without a range hood on this side that's sort of ill-fitting. And again, I think we've got, so these drawers have nothing in them as well. So as much as if you've got a kitchen down here, you can't really do much with it. And the coffee maker, I don't think we've used, but I don't know whether it works. We have got the one upstairs working, but it doesn't have a milk jug, a milk frothing jug, but it is what it is. The pool table here is pretty well worn. There's a few like chips in the felt and that sort of stuff, so you can sort of see like it's in pretty poor shape. It runs fairly true, so it wasn't bad to have a game on. If the cues had more to them, so all the cues, if the nubs aren't missing, the tips are very well worn, and that one's the short one, but the larger cues nibs are very, very well worn and often missing the bases. So they sort of have a hollow sound to them when you play. I used to have a pool table, so same sort of deal there. They're all missing the bases. I don't know what the deal is there. So they're very, very light. I think this is one of the only working cues. And then you'll see the others are all missing or very low nibs, very hard to play with, and no bass. That's all of them. Now we'll head downstairs to the squash room, and the table tennis table was nice, although the rackets were really well worn, so we actually ended up replacing them, buying our own, because they were just not able to play with them. So we'll just head downstairs to the squash court. You'll see here, it's really well worn, really well worn. There's damp issues and that sort of stuff, as you'll see in previous reviews. But what they did in previous reviews, they mentioned that there was some black mould from damp in the ceiling, as you can see there. Again, the courts are really well worn. They really need some love. Flaking off. Our kids complained about splinters in their feet because they're running around without any shoes on. We are by the beach, so it's not really too untoward, but yeah, bit of a shame. So they had to wear shoes in here. They ended up just buying another, what's the name? Sorry, I'm just recording a video, sweetheart. So this is the bowling alley, which looks great, but it doesn't work. So we called the property manager. He helped out a little bit. We got one screen working and one set of pins to drop, but when you roll the balls down, the balls don't return, and the screens, like I say, it was unplayable. So even though we have this lovely feature in the property, we weren't able to use it to its entirety. There is also the carpets lifting in these sort of parts here, so it's a bit of a trip hazard. Through here to the theatre room. So the kids were really excited that we had a home cinema. A little bit disappointed when we got here that it really just is a TV. So in the advertisement, it did say full surround sound. And as much as the speakers are here, you've got the speakers there and the centre speaker up there and the projector. It appears that the projector must have gone bung over time. So they replaced it with this screen. There is an amplifier at the back. But again, there's no way to play a disc or anything like that. It's just got the amplifier, not hooked up to the screen, so it's not surround sound. It's just a big TV on a wall, which is lovely. They've got this lovely big cushion in front of us, which is good. Kids spent some time laying on that and watching TV, but it would have been great to have a full surround sound system as promised. There is a golf simulator, but we couldn't get that working either. We could hit a ball into the screen, but it wouldn't actually work. Maybe that was us. We've never used a golf simulator before. But potentially, if they've got these features, they should have someone walk you through them, because how are you to know how to use everything? There is these massive, undercover garages, but we didn't have access to those. No buzzers are provided. We've got 3 cars that are parked in the carport there that we had to shuffle when we have to get one out. Would have been nice to have utilised this undercover garage. Another look at the bowling alley. So again, there's 2 screens on there. There's 2 screens on the wall here, none of which we could actually get working properly. We couldn't get the pins to reset. There was no one available. So what's worse than the house is actually the service. If you ring the first time, he answers because he doesn't know the number. And then every time you ring after that, he doesn't pick up the phone. So the property management was absolutely terrible. You really think that you should have better for this price. So our family were paying $4,000 a night to get a house that's mostly broken, covered in black mould, and is unserviceable. There are multiple taps in the house that didn't have handles. There was one in our bathroom and one outside, so you had to, really try and make good of them to open. And the one outside, so it didn't have a handle, had to use pliers. Don't expect this at this level at all.